How are you? Nice to see you. How's it going? I know. It's nice to be back in the sunshine. Good afternoon. Ready? Should we start? I think we can start. Those people will sit down as soon as I start. Ready to go? Okay, good afternoon, everybody. If you can take your seats, we're going to get started in here. A very warm welcome to the Advanced Manufacturing and Innovation Ecosystem stage here at the PIF Private Sector Forum. It's so fantastic to see you all. My name is Edie Lush, and I am delighted to be the host of this stage, where we are going to talk about building the manufacturing capacity here in the kingdom, building skills, exports, suppliers, and all at speed, doing it in a way that makes the private sector confident to invest. The PIF, as we know, absolutely central to this story, because it's not only investing in companies, it's helping to build sectors, supply chains, and bringing partners in. I want to say the ambition is significant and measurable. National Industrial Strategy set a target to grow the number of factories here 36,000 in just 9 years' time. So to do that, to make that happen, the rules we know have to be predictable, they have to be clear, from permits to standards to incentives. We're going to start off with a really interesting conversation. We're going to give a very warm welcome to our moderator, the Vice President of Broadcasting and Media Strategy, Corporate Affairs Division at the PIF, Fahad Al-Barkan, together with Vice Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources, His Excellency Khalil bin Ibrahim bin Salma.
Thank you, Bristol. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this really exciting warm introduction. I'll switch to Arabic now, which will be the language for this session.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources, we have a very short session, and we would have wanted to prolong our talk, but we have a limited time. But as far as the theme of this session, the enabling the advanced manufacturing and innovation ecosystem. So now we do have an ecosystem, and this stage in itself is an ecosystem. So how can we enable advanced manufacturing and innovation ecosystem? How can it expand, and how can we scale our activities in this regard? Peace be upon you, and good evening. First, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this session, and I'd like to thank the PIF and their fantastic team. We are witnessing an advancement every year that we come, and this what really comforts us and help us to advance our economy and to develop our economy in enabling the manufacturing innovation ecosystem on the right track. And this also gives us better incentives to work relentlessly to attract more private sector companies, specifically the SME sector, to join us in our value chain and supply chain that they invested heavily in, or invested heavily in by the PIF. So your question is very important, and we can multi-frame it, if you may. First, the objective: 36,000 factories in a very short period of time. The policies and the legislations that developed the manufacturing sector in the past cannot maintain the upcoming objectives. The number of factories, the types of industries requires an additional vision and more amendments to the current policies. And I'll give example of some. I'll be specific with my examples. First, the different inputs of manufacturing waivers policy. Not all the factories could benefit from this waiver when they import the different inputs of different materials of the industries, different industries, and that puts a big pressure on the industry in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the positive impact is great. And the other important factor is how can we direct the policies to the advanced manufacturing versus the traditional manufacturing. We do have two main axes. First, how can we maintain the previous gains in the industry as well as leading the transformation process to the advanced manufacturing. That also includes directing the advanced manufacturing to adopt the modern technologies such as automation, the adoption of digitalization, automation, or the new methods of manufacturing. This is highly linked to the transfer of knowledge in this sector. Another format is the preparation of the infrastructure. With Aramco Digital, the 5G is a very important aspect to adopt the modern technologies, and the absence of that will not allow the modern factories to lead this transformation. This infrastructure is evident and available. That will allow for digitalization and also to harness the modern tools as well. Absolutely. And also, how can we have a link, an interlink between the manufacturing facilities and the different processes of these factories? There's another aspect, and that is the availability of electricity, water treatment, and the transportation routes to the ports, as well the other transportation and logistics aspects. What is new currently, transferring technology it's a very important integral part of the local content. So we cannot deny that the production line transfer knowledge is very essential in this regard. And how can we develop these capabilities in the future? This will ensure sustainability in these processes, working closely with the innovation ecosystem as well as the R&D government efforts, be it the academic institutions or the organizing entities. I'll speak about some of the programs in details that incentivize such efforts. I'd like also to ask you about the programs and the current tools of the policies that supports the investments of the private sector, specifically in the advanced manufacturing capabilities versus the traditional manufacturing, as you mentioned. There are numerous programs. I only selected the most important. We'll talk about the most important program that was launched last year, and we announced it in the adjacent workshop. That is the standard incentives. any manufacturing facility that comes up with a product that is not currently produced in the kingdom, and in the past that it was important and it helps with our supply chain, that project receives a grant from the government that reach 50 million reals, or 35% of the total value of the project, whichever is higher. This is a clear message from the government. We, as a government, we want to give the priority to these types of projects, and we can also engage in investment with the private sector. And this investment comes in the form of an incentive. Citing some statistics in this regard, a project that was launched a few weeks ago with 500 applicants. Yes, they applied to the program. The standard incentives from 500 applicants, 50 projects are still under study, and the projects that reached the final approval are 9 projects. Their investments reach 2 billion Saudi riyals. What's still being studied in the final phases are 25 projects with the investment that reaching 5 billion Saudi riyals. What does that mean exactly? That this incentives is working properly. And also in the automotive industry, we've seen similar successes. The Factories of the Future program is pertaining to how can we adopt the modern technologies or modern manufacturing to what's coming next. We also have another program, another future program of the manufacturing beacons. That's what we call this program, to become an international facility of 25 factories, or 250 factories. We only chose 60 factories, 20 of which are participating in this program, and we're hoping that the entry of the market will become a beacon of the market to attract other companies at the same level. RAFID is also another important program to establish manufacturing facilities within the universities' campuses. 10 licenses has been issued, and one of the most important licenses using the titanium powder for 3D printing, and that allows us also to delve into new industries that we didn't witness in the kingdom before. The Innovative Factories program that provides incentives for R&D, specifically for the SME factories, at an estimate of 2 billion riyals for each factory. The beneficiaries reach 9 projects with a value of 15 million Saudi riyals. One of the most important of these projects in this field, and maybe many investment.
الشركاء. يعمل صندوق الاستثمارات العامة بجانب القطاع الخاص لتمكين الدعم وتعزيز القدرات وتنمية الأعمال ولتوفير الفرص للشركات داخل المملكة العربية السعودية وعلى مستوى العالم. مع التوسع المستمر في نطاق الصناعات المحلية، يواصل صندوق الاستثمارات العامة وشركات محفظته العمل مع القطاع الخاص لتسريع وتيرة النمو وتحقيق التنمية المستدامة، ولفتح قطاعات جديدة وتعزيز سلاسل الإمداد وخلق طلب أكبر يسهم في تحقيق الازدهار. اليوم الفرص متاحة في كل جانب من جوانب الاقتصاد، وقد جرى استعراضها خلال منتدى صندوق الاستثمارات العامة والقطاع الخاص، لأن التقدم يتحقق بفضل شراكات مثمرة أساسها حوارات بناءة متبوعة بتعاون فعال يثمر عن نتائج واقعية ومؤثرة. بعد اختتام المنتدى تستمر الرحلة حاملة المزيد من الفرص المتاحة لشركات القطاع الخاص والمستثمرين. إنها لحظتنا بكل ما تحمله من زخم وفرص، حيث نسير معا نحو المستقبل بخطى ثابتة. أهلاً بكم في النسخة الرابعة من منتدى صندوق الاستثمارات العامة والقطاع الخاص.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for being here with us. A big, big welcome for the Private Sector Forum here. It's great to have you. How's my sound right now? I'm a bit echoey up on stage. We all right down there? That's what's most important. It's not about me listening to myself. I'm fed up listening to myself. We've told this story many times. So I'm so delighted you're here. And clearly this year you can see that we have the clean energy and renewable infrastructure stand. You know, this conference very much focused and dedicated on its own here, as we have for many of the other sectors. But stay with us here, because this is the sector that actually connects every other sector. So if we don't have our energy, our water, all of that infrastructure, then the rest of them are in a bit of trouble. So I say we're in the most important sector here. Let me get my dear panel up. We have a lot going on for the afternoon. We're going right up till about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So let me get my panel here, and we're going to be looking at the opportunities in the clean energy and the renewable ecosystem, and indeed how we're doing so far in this, because this has not just started, it's in progress, and a lot has been achieved. But again, we're at that lovely crossroads, I think, where there's so much more going on, and my dear panel is going to help us. I'd like you to give a warm welcome to Mohanad Al-Buraidi. He is an energy localization and local content advisor. So if I might have him up here on stage. Mohanad, thank you. Come on, you can do better than that. From the Saudi Water Authority, Engineer Ahmed Al-Faithi, the General Director for Localization and Studies. Great to have you here as well. The Head of Energy of the National Development here at PIF, Awab Al-Sharif, joins us. So we get all the insights from Awab. And from the Saudi Electricity Company, the Deputy Manager for Enterprises Portfolio Management, Abdullah Azibi. So wonderful.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. And we have quite a lot to cover here. And if I might start with you, Mohanad, we'd maybe take a bit of an overview and let people know exactly what's going on here. And when we look at localized private sector capabilities here, where's the big demand at the moment? What are you seeing when you look across the sector?
First of all, thank you, Tim, for this fantastic session today. And I believe the most important things for the energy localization points here, it is what we need to look to localize the product itself as a commodity or service or what is related to that. There is a connection between the localization, the local content, and Saudization and the end. So if the energy sector or the other sector work together to understand what is the gap they have for the localization and the local content, so they can put the right resolution put the right initiative on the ground to help the sector to improve and empower the localization for the commodity, localization for service, localization for example, the maintenance itself, and also as well the IP or the also as well related to R&D itself. So with this umbrella for the localization, local content, its reach to should be give the right GDP impact, the local value add in the Saudi Kingdom. So if we're looking for the sectors, we can say that energy sectors, it's more advanced to other sectors because they have the good establishment for localization for the commodity. The same thing for subsidization, but this is we need to work more to understand the related supply chain, how to be improved also as well.
And there's a lot that has to be done there. I think we look at the demand that's growing here in the region, we look at domestic demand growing, and indeed we look at regional maybe, and one day international. From the Water Authority point of view, Ahmed, where do you see the water treatment value chain in terms of where most of it is, what's ready and what's ripe for further investment and expansion?
Thank you for hosting me. Just let me first explain the water sector in Saudi Arabia and how we govern it and organize it. MIWA, as the Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture, responsible for policies, water management systems, budgeting, and future projects planning. Saudi Water Authority responsible to regulate the sector. Also integrated the project through the sectors. For sure, our responsibility to localize the services and products, strategic products in water sectors. We have, as a strategic third level operating entities, we talk about the segments from production up to reuse, production from desalination water and brackish water in Saudi Arabia under responsibility from SWCC as a government entity and SWPC and the private sector as a private entities. Transmission is under responsibility from WITCO, and I wanted to thank Mr. Engineer Khalid to attend this session with us from WITCO company. WITCO company responsible to transfer water from desalination plant up to the main cities. The third segment, water distribution through National Water Company. Then sewage water treatment, the fourth segment, also under responsibility from NWC. I can say that the last segment is reuse water under Saudi Irrigation Organization. Through those entities, we're looking to localize the strategic products, and we talk about the opportunities as a services and manufacturing.
So there's opportunities really in every sort of touch point along the way.
Yeah.
We'll come back to more detail on that. Awa, when we look at the work that you're doing with PIF and really talking with all of the key players here, talk to me about the private sector participation. Where do you want that to, where are you pushing for more of an increase, and then what's sort of ripe for development? What have you got in mind?
Thank you very much, Ethna. I think there are multiple areas where private sector participation can add a lot of value. I would, maybe if I can pinpoint a few areas, I would say it's a mixture between project development and supply chain localization. In fact, if I can add more context to that, project development, a successful project development relies heavily on localized supply chains, because that can lead to securing the supply chains that we need, and also increasing the efficiency, reducing the cost, and overall reduce our reliance on international markets as well, and mitigating risks in general. So overall, we think that successful project development involves localization of supply chains, especially the critical part, and that applies to the energy sectors, the different types of energy, whether it's renewables, oil and gas, and if we talk also about the grid management and infrastructure, and of course, as my colleague Ahmed mentioned, regarding the water sectors and the different chain in the water sector as well.
And indeed, we have to look right across the energy sector. It's not just, of course, we're looking more at renewables and we're looking at, clean energy here, but it's about making all energy clean in Saudi Arabia, and again, making sure that we have energy security, in the country while we're making that transition. Abdulaziz, we look at the renewable capacity, it's growing, it's coming into the grid. Mini grids around the world are in trouble, whether we like it or not. So talk to me in terms of what's happening here on the grid side for Saudi Arabia. Transmission, expansion, distribution, storage. Where do you really need to upgrade and where do you need more investment?
Yes, of course. The grid expansion here in Saudi Arabia is huge, and it also has opportunities through generation, transmission, and distribution. And the more important is to have delivering those projects with quality and on time, and also not affecting the reliability. In order to have those projects with this large scale of projects to be implemented and integrated to the network in a timely manner, the skill of our partners and suppliers is necessary in that area, and also not to forget the reliability of grid, and also the increasing demand on the stability services like digitalization, and also control of the grid on the real time.
Ahmed, if I might come to you, we're looking at what's happening in, water, indeed, in electricity, water, things that nobody can do without, any of the other sectors, the absolute fundamentals here in terms of what we need. The biggest private sector entry points, I suppose, on the water side, is it desalination? Does that continue here? More efficiency built in, and of course, the digitalization concept as well. What do you want to see there?
Yeah. Especially for desalination, we're looking to improve the efficiency for our plants, desalination plants, through using AI and automation systems, renewable energy, any technology for energy recovery. As you know, desalination plant use high pressure pumps. Those pumps use a lot of energy. We're working with many companies to reduce this efficiency, to reduce the power consumption through many systems, through AI systems, through energy recovery devices, and for sure optimize the systems. We're looking to localize I can see the traditional equipment, pumps, valve, motors, and etc. But at the same time, we're looking to develop this product. We're not looking to just assembly and produce the type of equipment, but we're looking to develop it, to improve it. We want a Saudi market to be a competitive market to export those products when we localize it in Saudi market to another country in region.
Awab, when we look at, the amount of companies that are coming knocking at your door, and they can all make bits and pieces of pipes and that. But, again, just as he was saying there, we need that stamp that is made in KSA on everything that's going out, and we need the finished product going out. Do you see, this whole industry in the energy sector, particularly clean energy, really, a new business, a new industry for potential Saudi companies, joint ventures, and for international companies?
Absolutely. I wouldn't consider it particularly new, but maybe there are some sectors that are growing and are not traditional or conventional. So if we talk about, for example, the conventional electricity generation or transmission and distribution, this has been here for decades. But when you're talking about renewables, for example, this is actually a very growing sector, and it is maybe one of the perfect sectors for companies that are willing to localize or establish partnerships to penetrate and localize key components there in the renewables. And I think also in the water sector, especially in the desalination, as Mr. Ahmed mentioned, I think it's a clear opportunity for for private sector companies to penetrate there as well and localize, especially that Saudi Arabia is the #1 producer of desalinated water globally. This is a perfect opportunity for all companies globally or locally to localize as much as possible from the supply chains that we need in order to ensure that we have that secured within the kingdom. And also not just normal manufacturing, we want technology transfer, we want innovation, we want R&D as well. And this is what we want to see as well in the solar and wind, which are perfect opportunities as nascent sectors that are growing massively in the coming years, inshallah.
Muhannad, clearly, you know, we want to see the factories and we want the hardware development here, and I think the big push towards industrialization on the 2030 plan, you know, outlines that very clearly. But, you know, just as Awar was talking about there, we need the technology transfer, we need the partnerships, all of that to come in here. And also, I suppose, to upgrade Saudi companies to become truly international, world-class companies that can compete on the international market. Are we close to getting there?
I think yes, but let's focus on two items here for especially for the workforce development, because if we need to grow and have the right competition, we need to build the asset in Saudi Arabia. The main asset is the employee itself. The employee, if that working the workforce development on the ground, which is to build the capacity on the ground. If we need to build the capacity on the ground, that means we need to put the right strategy, right initiative on the ground, related for example, to upskilling these people, to upskilling the Saudi. So if we have the right academy, partnership between the different arms, so they can put the right training plan, certify the plan. So in the end, we will end up with the right capacity for Saudization. So we can feed that to the private sector companies to help them to move forward. So we're helping them to building assets. This is the point number one. On the other hand, we need to talk about the AI and IP here. AI, it is the most important article and I think the factor for the future. If we have the right AI and IP on the ground, we will have bright future for this company to compete and have the right competitiveness rate later on future. So this is the points I think we need to focus on in the future.
And are we seeing, you know, companies embrace that? And again, are companies working closely enough maybe with academia? And, you know, are the standards rising? Because I think AI is running on one parallel sometimes, and we look at the energy sector, which can be quite a conservative business. You know, is it up to speed?
It's not in the speed level right now, but there is a strategy and the initiative on the ground.
Yeah.
And I think many companies and many sectors now working parallel to have the right progress later on. I think in the end of Vision 2030, we will have the end for the future. I will say that, to have a new future, to be ready for the next phases. So yes, we are in progress. I think most sectors in the ground on Kingdom of Saudi Arabia do the right task and job on the ground to have the significant future, inshallah.
Hey, Wab, I see you agreeing with that. I mean, in terms of what your focus and the plan for PIF, is AI right up there? And that
definitely 100%. And I think any organization, any ecosystem, if they are not considering AI seriously, then they are definitely going to be left behind. And I think Saudi Arabia is trying to set a proper footprint in the AI in all ecosystems, not just in the clean energy ecosystems. So actually that creates new opportunities for the private sector, for the innovation and for the innovative companies in the kingdom and in the region as well, so that we can seize the new opportunities that are being created because of AI and because of the technology advancement. So I think there are potential to utilize AI and utilize innovation in general, whether it's in the renewables, whether it's in the water sector, whether it's in the transmission and distribution, and definitely maybe Mr. Abdullah from ECC can agree in the grid optimization as well. So there are opportunities where we can utilize that and make sure that we are upgrading regarding the service that we have and regarding the infrastructure that we're building and expanding upon.
Abdullah, indeed, talk about a little bit maybe about the grid optimization, without a doubt, but also, you know, when you're making these, you know, alliances with other companies, what are you looking for? More digital monitoring, cybersecurity, advanced transformers? What do you want from the people who are coming in, investors and partners right now?
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Awar, for bringing this up. Digitalization and automation is in the heart of the new modern electricity and grid expansion. especially with the rise of the new technologies coming up in renewable batteries, HVDC systems, and other requirements to reduce the time of interruption and also the frequency of interruption in the electricity services. So definitely the digitalization and AI can bring more value to those sectors. And what we are looking from investors in the Saudi electricity market is to be ready to the future, to be ready to the new expansion and services for maintenance and also operating the huge grid.
Ahmed, when we look at the models that work, let's have a look at, developer-led models, PPP, the long-term O&M agreements. What do you see are the best ones that work, particularly when it comes to, water and it comes to distribution there? And what do the private firms need to be looking for and bringing on offer,
Yeah. As I mentioned, we have two, I can see, category of localization. The first one, the surface localization. The best model with surface localization, the BBB or BOT for long-term agreement to operate, build and operate the plants and pipeline, distribution system, sewage water treatment plants. That's the best model for private sector as a services. Even though EPC contract, engineering, consultant company, we can manage it through our project with a long agreement. For the equipment and products, we can offer three options to localize that. The first option, through offtake agreement for 5 years, we can order a specific quantity yearly from the company who localize the product and manufacture it in Saudi Arabia. That's the first option. The second one, we work with our colleagues in local content authority to add the product in mandatory list. And the third option, if the quantity is not clear yearly, we can make long agreement for 4 years. Mm-hmm. If we order the product, we will order it from the company who localize the product in Saudi market. We have many conditions to localization.
Yes.
We were not looking to assembly. We forgot this journey. We're looking to localize the whole value chain, starting from raw material up to testing the product in the end. We're looking to localize the product use our raw material in Saudi market. We're looking to localize engineering, design, even through the R&D for the product. In water sector, we have legacy from 50 years ago. We operate and develop the product in Saudi market. We want our partner as a private sector who will produce the product in Saudi market, be partner with us to develop the product, to export the product for another countries. And now we already signed 4 agreements to localize the main product in water sector. The first one, the RO membrane, we localize it with Torre company. And now this company produced 300,000 membrane yearly. They cover Saudi market and export the membranes to 27 countries around Saudi Arabia. Their investment above 1 billion riyal to establish the facility here in Saudi market.
I mean, that's a great success story of a company that's happening here. And I think we want to be seeing more of these. Ahmed, Awab, if I can bring you in here. You know, clearly all of these partnerships and all of these alignments, you have to have some flexibility built in. The same one that will work in water might not work in electricity, might not work where. But where are you seeing the ones that actually work the best?
Excellent question. I think there are multiple models, as my colleague mentioned, that could work, and each private sector company, they can explore and identify the models that are suitable for them depending on what they are offering. But from our experience, I think the model that has been the most successful is establishing partnerships, maybe joint ventures or strategic partnerships or technical or technology partnerships between multiple companies, 2 companies or more, where they can leverage joint resources, they can leverage joint expertise, and they can leverage joint network in order to penetrate and participate and deliver multi-scale projects, not just small scale, even large scale projects they can do. And I think this model has been proven successful in many examples, and we actually encourage that local players and global players as well establishing these kind of partnerships as well. Other models as well include, of course, local manufacturing, whether as a solo company or via partnerships. Service provision in general is something that should be explored. But overall, we believe that the partnerships between multiple companies and leveraging joint resources is key, especially that, as Mr. Ahmed mentioned, we are looking to localize strategic key products in the value chains of water, of energy, of renewables, of the grid management. And many of these key opportunities are, let's say, large-scale opportunities that require maybe collaboration to increase the potential of a successful outcome and a successful delivery. So this is the model that we most probably encourage investors and let's say companies to explore. But of course, each company, they can explore what is suitable to them depending on the context and depending on the model.
Abdullah, you want to come in here, please?
Yeah, I agree with you, Awab, that the best model to localize is to start with partnership. And we found it very helpful in delivering very large-scale projects in very shorter time. And when done right, then it will be also leveraged to provide local services in the project management and also in the operating and maintenance through the overall life cycle of the product.
Now, throughout the next day and a half here, you know, we are going to be talking with the PIF in more detail and other companies in terms of, you know, the models that worked for them and the help that they got in place and all of that. So I think we're going to hear some interesting journeys. Mohanad, you know, when we look at policy and procedure, a lot of work has already been done, and I think a lot of things have changed over the last few years. But where would you say the main barriers are to prevent small companies, you know, getting into the clean energy space right now?
Excellent. Now the maturity of the process and policy and procedure on the ground, especially our policymaker made on the ground to empower the localization or help the Saudi firms to be enter the market, it's a good level. But on the other hand, we need to look at the benchmark for other countries, how they work to make sure this localization will be on the level to have from buyer side the best price we have it on the cost-wise reduction. On the other hand, to influence and empower the localization. So it's clear for energy sector, they are looking for the good price, the cheapest price to source the energy. But on the other hand, the strategy and the governance, the operating model on the ground, it will be enforced to have the localization. So that's mean the energy sector and the related company should be work on the operating model, governance, structure, the function itself, and empower this function for localization, local content within the entity to help and empower the localization, local content, and the new Saudi firm entering the market. On the other hand, the policymaker, LCGPA, and PIF here also as well, energy sector working together to have the best fit for the localization, local content on the ground.
Now, we've only got a couple of minutes to wrap this up, and you know, perhaps, Ahmed, I'll start with you on this kind of, you know, words of advice you can maybe share with our audience, but also maybe giving them a bit of a heads up in terms of what are we seeing next in the water sector, maybe that would be opportunities, and what would you advise them to do?
Yeah, we already developed 18 opportunities in water sector for private sector to localize it. We are here to work with private sector to establish their facility in Saudi market. We have many incentives, we have many enables in Saudi market to work together. Today, the localization, it's integrated system in Saudi market. If you want anything from, for example, from MISA, from PIF, from water sector, as an authority or operating companies, from Ministry of Industrial, if you sit with any entity, they will connect you with another. That means if you will not face any challenge in Saudi market if you are serious to invest in Saudi market.
Let's hear from the electricity company as well. Abdullah, when we think of it, what are the opportunities, for investors right now in terms of coming here? What do you want from them?
Yeah, we have a variety of opportunities in regard of products and equipment. So the main strategic grid equipment like transformers, GIS, and also the accessories and controls. On the transmission lines, also the connectors and towers, and also more importantly the insulators. It's all opportunities for the private sector to come and also bring value there. On the other hand, the services also required, and also a lot of investment are done in the services like EBC services, testing, commissioning, and of course operating and maintenance services.
Muhammad, I think the industry this sector is wide open in many ways. Again, where are the big opportunities? And I need 30 seconds on that from you.
I think the big opportunity now here to follow the demand on the market and working with the right partnership. Also as well speak with the regulator, the organizer, and helping them to go with. There is a good commodity on the ground, good opportunity on the ground. Everyone can be catch up. The business huge. We can each one reach to that level for the business for future.
And clearly, Awabid, speak to PIF. Tell me, what do you want? What do you want these investors to do?
Absolutely. I want to build on my colleagues said. Most of the opportunities that I have mentioned and more are all published in PIF's website on the private sector hub. We have more than 20 opportunities that are already listed there for the water, for the renewables, for the electricity transmission and distribution. And I encourage all private sector companies to explore the private sector hub, explore the opportunities. Even if the opportunities that you're looking for or you're interested to do are not registered there, also registered interest. And we will be happy to engage with you, and we will be happy to connect you with the portfolio companies of PIF, whether it's Saudi Electricity Company, National Water Company, and regulators as well, Mr. Ahmed and all the other regulators as well. So please reach out, and we are happy for more and more participation of the private sector.
And thank you. Again, you'll be here for the next couple of 2 days, so hopefully there'll be an opportunity, if you do have that interest, to talk to them. Abdullah, Awab, Ahmed, and Muhammad, thank you so much for sharing your great expertise and giving us so much advice and guidance and focus. Thank you again so much.
Welcome. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I have to, you leave, and I have another group waiting to come right back on, but thank you all so much. Again, I think we hear there, the opportunities that are in the electricity sector, that are in the water sector, and indeed right across the clean energy sector. Everybody really looking at upskilling. But again, I think the great interest there is to build something very solid here, not just parts and bits and pieces here. This is about really making a homegrown business here. If you want to come and join us up the front, because we get a lot of people coming in the back, please, these seats are all free. The front row is totally available. So, I know it's There are many sections here that people want to go to, but please do come and join us closer to the front here. We'd love to have you. Our next session is going to be looking at incorporating distributed solar energy into PIF portfolio company operations. And I see my dear panel is waiting in the wings, almost in a minute now, ready to go. So we'll give them a second to come on board. We'll make sure we have this stage ready for them. Please, as I say, do come and be a bit closer. Some very familiar faces in the audience. This is always good. It makes us feel very encouraged here. So thank you so much, Paul. Now we have with us the Sustainability Director from the King Abdullah Financial District. So please give a warm welcome to Ahmed Al-Zahrani. Ahmed is with us here, so I'm going to put you sitting here, Ahmed. From the Saudi Coffee Company, Dr. Abdullah Bukhari is with us, Sustainability and QHSE Director. Lovely to have you here. And from the new Moraba Development Company, Dr. Sultan Al-Sharif, the Director of Sustainability. So thank you so much. And again, really looking at how we incorporate distributed solar energy into PIF portfolio companies. Ahmed, lovely to see you. Sorry, we have to do a quick run here, and I don't get to greet you, but I'm greeting you all here. Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
We look at the work that's going on, at CAFT, and we look at, I think, solar clearly, supporting your sustainability ambitions. First of all, why is that so important? And then talk to us maybe about how distributed solar really delivers, I think, the value, because ultimately that's what it's not just a good thing to do, it has to make sense.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here speaking about our experience in adopting distributed solar within King Abdullah Financial District. So if you look at the overall sustainability goals of King Abdullah Financial District, it is started already in the design stage. So most of our infrastructures and buildings are built to the most optimum sustainable design. So sustainability in design is very important for us, and we are proud to be the world's largest LEED ND Platinum certified mixed-use district. That is something that we are always proud of, and most of our tenants and most of our customers who are coming to the districts are always eager to add that to their sustainability goals. Yeah. So when it comes to distributed solars, it is always giving us an advantage on the LEED certification, specifically to the whole district and to each building that it's installed at. We have successfully installed solar panels on top of the roofs of some of the buildings that are currently in operations, and we have seen the value already there in reducing the operational cost of energy for these assets, as well as it's also indirectly contributing to our footprint in GHG emissions, reducing our footprint. So these are the real value for infrastructure companies and for development to go for distributed solars within their assets.
And we'll look at more detail how you're managing that, but it's nice when you have several boxes to tick. And I'm sure most of you have been up at the King Abdullah Financial District. It's also a very, very beautiful looking area, and it keeps growing, right?
Yeah.
So if you're the world's biggest at the moment, it just becomes biggest and bigger. Dr. Abdullah, we look at coffee manufacturing here, which is just so wonderful, and the Saudi Coffee Company. I didn't find you today, but I found it last time here. I'll have to pop by and see what you're doing. You operate really across the full value chain with a lot of rooftop projects across the farms and all of that. Talk to us about what the progress has been and the results that you've seen.
Thank you. So starting with Saudi Coffee Company, it was established with the main aim for restoring the heritage of coffee down in the south region of Saudi Arabia. So sustainability plays a major role across all our value chain.
And give us a feel of the scale and size of this as well, because it's...
Thank you. So so far we are right now developing our farming potential, applying modern fertilization or farming technology. As far as our manufacturing facility, we are enabling that with the solar rooftop at 2 megawatts. So right now, our renewable energy project goes in parallel with the factory construction. As far as the farming activity, most of our irrigation systems runs with solar, distributed solar resources. In the same time, our automation for our farming activity again, so runs with the solar energy. So somehow we represent the real distribution energy resources across all our sectors or value chain with that. So looking or aiming for reducing our operation cost, and in the same time adopting renewable and sustainable mandates across the organization.
And I mean, it's such a lovely story because it's agriculture and it's coffee and it's all of that put together. So when it's then even more sustainable, I think it's such a lovely story. Dr. Sultan, we look at the work at New Maraba, and again, one of the regions, one of the kingdom's most ambitious new destinations, without a doubt. Talk to us about how sustainability was embedded in the whole process, in the design, right from the development on day one.
Thank you for having me and New Maraba. Actually, we are building the downtown that you can enjoy the coffee that...
There you go.
Okay. Actually, we embed sustainability strategies since day one of announcing the project or the destination. Our sustainability strategy is fully aligned with the national commitment to sustainability, whether it's a global like the United Nations SDGs or the Saudi Green Initiative or other environmental and sustainability related strategy for the company. Because at the end of the day, projects like New Maraba are the implementers of these sustainability strategies, where the KPIs can be put and realized, in fact, in reality. So our strategy is fully aligned with the national level, and then we cascade these national targets into we ask ourselves a question: how can we contribute to that? What are the value proposition when it comes to sustainability that we can add? So we, as answer of this question, we have developed our decarbonization strategy to contribute to the national carbon neutrality by 2060.
Okay.
Other strategy is the ESG strategy. We are not talking only about the sustainability, environmental sustainability. We are considering social sustainability as well as economical sustainability, as we are building the new largest downtown that is being built in the modern era. New Maraba as a whole, maybe I did not give a brief about it. It is the new heart of Riyadh. It is located at the intersection of King Salman Road with King Khalid Road at the northwest area of Riyadh. It is promising with the uniquely shaped Muka'ab. The Muka'ab is the largest structure in the world. Mm-hmm. It's being in the development. It will offer residential, work, livability, and many aspects of life. And one of the things that we are capitalizing on is that we build with nature.
Okay.
You see, we are building the heart of the city, but we are fortunate because there is a branch or a channel of the Wadi Hanifa connected to the central area of the destination. So we are providing the marriage between nature and urban development, and dedicated 25% of the total land to green spaces, so everyone can have the access to green spaces.
And Ahmed, you don't have the same luxury in in CAFT because you're building up. But I mean, you're making sure there are green spaces there too as well. So talk to me maybe about the challenges. I can see I can see your beautiful picture of that lovely green place. But when we're down at CAFT at the minute, we need to look up. But there must be challenges associated with distributed solar, in high density areas here because, fine, we have tall buildings and maybe you can do something on the outside and the cladding and all of that, but then occasionally we have buildings maybe shadowing each other. So different challenges there. What do you do?
Yeah. So you pinpointed to the main challenge, which is we don't have the luxury of area where we install distributed solar panels across the area. If you look at CAFT, it's designed to provide the tenants and the visitors with an experience of both the walkability within an area that's shaded, and the buildings are designed in a way to provide that shading for the walkable area and the green spaces within the city, which is called Al Wadi. So it makes it very difficult for us to find spaces with that shading strategy to provide any area that is exposed to the sun for a long time and to install the solar panels in each building. But luckily we have found a solution. We tried, some of the buildings were embedded in the design to install solar panels, and we're benefiting from those. Also now in new areas where we are building new buildings that are common for use, we are always maximizing the use of solar panels. As an example, we have the new parking that we are introducing that has a roof full of solar panels.
Well, everybody will be excited about new parking at CAFT.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of our flagship projects that we announced last year, and we have Fahad here, the guru for that project, is the fire station. It's the first LEED Platinum fire station in the world, and the roofs are the rooftop is full with solar panels, and it's contributing to almost 40% of the energy demand of that fire station.
That's very exciting. Dr. Sultan, come back to you. Why does distributed solar matter so much in an environment like this? Because, at the same time, you're still on the grid, and you'll probably need to stay on the grid, but you'll probably be feeding back to it. But for yourself and maybe for other PIF portfolio companies as well, and particularly when you're looking to Vision 2030 and beyond.
Okay. Actually, as my colleague mentioned, some portfolio projects don't have the luxury of a land to utilize it to develop solar farm or wind farm. For projects like New Murabba and CAFT, we are limited in land. So we can capitalize on whatever solution that we can use in order to reduce our energy demand from the grid, as well as help us in the savings when it comes to long-term operational costs. So, however, this comes with cost, with innovation, with new technologies that we are keen to hear from our partners here. We are looking for innovation that we can embed, tangible solutions, not just fancy solutions. We need practical solutions that can contribute to our vision as a New Murabba, contributing to the larger vision of Saudi Arabia. So it is, I'm not saying the only way, but it's a critical way of contributing to sustainability when it comes to energy and solar energy dependency.
Abdullah, when we look at the work you're doing at Saudi Coffee Company, talk to us a little bit about the carbon project you have in place. Because again, these are very innovative projects here, and this is in the Jazan region where it's all happening. What has been happening with this project, and where are we now?
Yes. So since we already planting coffee trees down there in the south, so far we have planted so far 600,000 trees.
Wow.
So as part of the Saudi Green Initiative for reducing carbon emission by the year 2060 to arrive at zero carbon emissions. So we started our visibility to determine how would that contribute to carbon reduction. As long as we are planting coffee, it breathes pretty much carbon dioxide. So we have completed the phase for how much we can sequestrate from the atmosphere of carbon and applying for a carbon certificate and so on. This goes for our farming activity. Same thing goes with our factory since it's under construction. We aim to reduce our carbon emission by having the solar rooftop. And in addition, our ambition is to arrive at a neutral or carbon neutral coffee kind of production. So with that, we are putting carbon reduction at the core of our activities in Saudi Coffee Company.
And also in such a natural way. I mean, there's, we look at, big solar farms, which, many people don't like to see, whether they're, whether they're necessary or not. But you actually have the luxury of doing this the natural way. So it's very exciting, your own decarbonization. Ahmed, when we look at, Saudi's grid, yes, it's becoming greener, but how can companies, I suppose, balance co-site solar with tools like power purchase agreements, or renewable certificates to actually reach energy goals?
When we look at the electricity grid in the kingdom, with the Vision 2030, the plan is to reach 50% energy mix by 2030 from renewable sources. So the kingdom is doing its part on that area for the grid. And it's putting actually pressure on the companies and the private sector who are eager to advance their sustainability goals and reach the clean energy, is to maximize the use of solar panels or renewable sources within their perimeters. So it is always encouraged, and I think it is the opportunity now for the private sector and the companies to maximize the use of solar panels, until there is a regulation that will allow for the purchase of power agreements or renewable certificates that can do the balance. But maximizing the use of own renewable sources at site is what's required from all the private sector and the investors right now.
And also, I mean, at CAFT, you're managing sustainability for the whole area, but then you have to work with the third parties who are coming in, the big banks and everyone else, and align with them because, their goals have to fit in with yours. Do you find that, encouraging in terms of what they're looking at in terms of their goals and the goals at CAFT as well?
So basically one of our tenants or the companies that are residing within CAFT has always, or last year, they participated in the voluntary carbon market.
Okay.
And they were able to offset all of their operational emissions for that building. And we work closely with them to identify how much they're contributing to the emissions of the city or the district. So most of our customers and tenants are international companies that they have sound sustainability strategy and ESG plans in place, that they are always eager to advance their clean energy goals. And once we have a system in place for the renewable certificates or the power purchase agreement, we will definitely approach them and we will integrate that into their plans as well.
Yeah, no, because that has to happen. Abdullah, when we look at, let's look at the process of coffee. It's fine growing it. That's just step number one. But, you look at roasting and packaging and cold chain logistics, all of that. Energy intensive, water intensive as well. Did the on-site sort of solar for you, did that strengthen, your operational resilience and obviously sustainability on that? But how has that helped to actually, help it make it more deliverable for you?
As a start for our distributed solar, it supports us for the factory by reducing our operation cost, for instance. As far as our farming activity, where is limited access to the grid and electricity, so it all relies on fossil fuel. So solar gave us a huge advantage for our operation within the farm itself. Again, as far of our pursuit of achieving a LEED certification for the factory construction, it had a big contribution or a big score, I would say, for securing our LEED Gold certification, as we are working towards that. So in a comprehensive or a holistic way. So our water activity, as water is limited, we are facing a huge challenge in our farming activity to secure that. So a sort of a sustainable water management system, as we are conducting a visibility of utilizing rainwater harvesting project, as rain seasons are huge down there in the south, and we would want to utilize that in part of our sustainable portfolio in Saudi Coffee Company.
I mean, it's a bit of a different climate there in a way. It's more lush and green, isn't it, rather than desert?
True. And it's rainy pretty much 6 months of the year.
Okay.
So it's a huge waste of rainwater that we plan to utilize.
Yeah. So now we have to get the tourism people coming down that part of the world, and we can combine it and run away.
Looking forward to that.
Dr. Sultan, when we look at, talk to us about, New Maraba sort of so far. I mean, there are great plans, and, every time we're back here in the kingdom, we see the plans advancing, and you continue on that. But where do, I suppose, technology providers, utilities, service partners, what role are they all playing in scaling, the adoption on this? Because now it's about scale. Once you've got one piece in place, then it's build and build and build out.
Yeah, actually our DNA includes sustainability, technology and innovation.
Okay.
And we urge companies to come up with new solutions that can be adapted in our projects, because what matters is the future, and technology is now and the future. So we want to capitalize on specifically technologies that related to sustainability, related or adapting AI technologies that can help us to optimize our operations in terms of water, energy, waste management, human safety and security, resilience. The role is a shared role between the client side and the company side. But we have already engaged with a number of companies. Also some innovations in the making. So with national and international company. It's in the process. When the time comes, we will announce, inshallah, great successes.
Ahmed, look at, I suppose, future technologies in terms of, what will shape the next wave of distributed renewables, when we come to Saudi developments, because clearly it's working, clearly there's a great business case for it, so it's going to, get more popular.
Yeah, so when we look into technology, I'm quite confident that technology will play a huge role in the future in advancing the renewable energy installation for developments. In our case, as I mentioned in the last question, regarding the challenges of space and the surface area that's required for installing solar panels, I think what we're investigating now or looking into is to install the panels at the facade that will support us in advancing these goals as well. But we require technology because the efficiency of those facade areas is not yet proven to deliver the same installation that's happening on the rooftops. So basically, I'm quite confident that technology will find a solution that will advance these facade solar panels that will be used for the developments in the future, as well as the efficiency of solar panels that will increase the usage and the energy demand that is required by each development.
Abdullah, you have the QHSE in your role as well. And when we look at sustainability and the QHSE approach, you know, in terms of implementation, safety, partnerships, where is that most important?
Pretty much most of what you have mentioned. So quality plays a major role in our farming and industrial activity. As far as security, as we are operating in remote areas.
Yes, yes.
In the same thing, safety plays a major role in most of our operation, as it is a labor-intensive kind of activity in coffee production and so on. So with all that, we have combined that under the umbrella of our sustainability initiative, as it looks over a social outcomes, strategic outcomes, governance kind of outcomes, and eventually a circular carbon economy outcome. So with all that being addressed, we are focused more on addressing all these aspects in terms of quality, security, and safety as part of our sustainability mandate.
And all of that, it has to be sort of the big package for everybody to make sure that that spells success at the end. We need to wrap up this. Sultan, if I might, you know, have a word from the three of you in terms of, you know, any investors and people that are looking to come here. What would your, I suppose, words of advice be, you know, to other people in terms of incorporating distributed solar energy into their operations when they look at the Saudi market? Sultan, if you start us off there, just a quick wrap.
What I can say is that come up with realistic technology solutions that can be adapted in Saudi market, compare it to our hot arid region, so we can get the advantage of it. And the doors are open anytime. So if any company has solutions, has something to offer, we are keen to explore and support in adapting these in our projects.
And you know, when you're building a new city, it's so exciting because
yes.
You know, you have more different plans, and you're eager to hear new what works in other countries that you haven't heard of, and that. So it's a lovely position to be in. Yeah. Abdullah, talk to me in terms again of, you know, where would you advise people for distributed solar?
Well, it comes at the first pillar of Saudi Coffee Company, promoting our Saudi coffee heritage as far the brand Saudi Coffee Jazeen itself. So all that pours into achieving or being the organization with the modern farming technology, modern manufacturing technologies, and so on. At the end, aiming not to jeopardize or affect on the environment or surrounding environment, rather than utilizing all sources of waste back into our loop into activities. Yeah. So again, sustainability plays a major role at the heart of Saudi Coffee Company.
No, it's very exciting to hear that. And I'm going to leave you, Ahmed, the last word on this. If there's one lesson you might have for portfolio companies, you know, coming into this market, what would it be?
So I guess for portfolio companies and development, they need to start as early as the design phase.
Yes.
To maximize the use of solar panels and renewable energy.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you've all been lucky in many ways that you've had that joy to do it. And indeed, Saudi is very lucky. It has that. It's, you know, so many new projects that are happening here. So there's no excuse but to incorporate that distributed solar here. Gentlemen, thank you all so much. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and really enlightening us in terms of the great work that you're doing and the great success stories you've had. And we wish you the very best. And hopefully we'll join you for a coffee later.
Thank you.
We still have a few more sessions ahead of us, so it might be a little while. But wonderful to see you all. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Pleasure to be. Thank you.
Again, you know, we've just heard there from some of the companies here, the PIF portfolio companies already in place here that are really doing some tremendous work. And we'll all have to check out down south, I think, down in the coffee growing area. It sounds absolutely delightful, doesn't it? We're now going to have a few just little presentations. Why were you doing, Paul? You're taking everything off. Okay. So just clear off here, and before we get our people up here, we're going to be looking at private sector hub. This is kind of a bit of a workshop to give you a feel for what people are doing, the gateway to opportunities in the PIF ecosystems. And again, we look at projects that have been happening here in the private sector hub, you know, the one-stop shop digital gateway, so to speak, and really how it's helping people, how it's helping companies. And for these 2 days, you know, the people I'm having on the panel here, I've had the opportunity to talk to them, and many of the companies that came here that talked with PIF in terms of the guidance they got, how they went about setting up the companies, the business opportunities that are actually offered from and by PIF, all of that absolutely essential to really help you get a foothold here and get in a position where you can actually get your business going. We're going to be talking clearly with we have 3 different presentations and 2 of them from PIF Associates, but we're also going to be hearing shortly from Hassan Alam Holding. So put all of this together to share experience with you, to engage, inform and enlighten you just a little bit about the opportunities that are there and what the possibilities are. I mean, that's ultimately what it's all about. So let's get this stage all clear for it here, and just in a minute then we're going to get started here. Hopefully in our sessions tomorrow we might have some time to incorporate a few questions. It's not always possible because we have a few experts on the panels here and they actually have quite a lot to say. So we really hope that you know, what we're delivering for you is helping you to sort of make decisions and helping you to be more informed in terms of the business opportunities that are here, and hopefully maybe the decisions that you might ultimately make. So we're ready to go. Paul, I think I have an all clear on the stage here. Thank you, sir. So let me call up, if I would now, Senior Associate with PIF from the Private Sector Engagement, Sadim Alonaisen, correct? Sadim. Okay.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Sadim Alonaisen. I'm from the Private Sector Hub team at PIF. In today's session, I'm going to walk you through the Private Sector Hub, what we offer, and how can we support your connection with the portfolio companies. Sorry, the clicker is not working. As you know, PIF manages a large portfolio of companies and giga projects. Each one of these portfolio companies have their own mandates, priorities, and business opportunities. So this creates 2 challenges for the private sector. It's not always clear where the opportunities are, and it's not always clear how to engage with the portfolio companies. So the Private Sector Hub was created to solve this problem. It surfaces its demand from portfolio companies, package that demand into clear opportunities for the private sector, create a structured ways to engage and transparent ways to engage with the private sector, and support further with the discussions. So the Private Sector Hub is a platform that is located in the PIF's official website. And if you go to the website, you're going to find 3 key sections. The first one is the business opportunities, where we consolidated the opportunities from PIF portfolio companies. We also have the LPC supplier registration links. So in this section, you can find all the links to become a supplier for PIF portfolio companies. We also have the private sector programs. These programs were launched by PIF and the portfolio companies and aims to support the private sector growth. So during today's session, we're going to focus on the business opportunities. So currently, the hub offers more than 190 investment opportunities. The value of these opportunities are almost 40 billion SAR. These opportunities span from sectors such as construction, metals and mining, real estate, utilities and renewables, and more. So these opportunities reflect a real demand from PIF portfolio companies and where the private sector is needed. So in terms of types of opportunities, we offer 5 different types of opportunities. The first one is localization. These opportunities are for global international players who are looking to establish local facilities in Saudi Arabia. This can be local manufacturing facilities, local assembly, or even know-how transfer. We also have supply chain gaps. These are for international suppliers that provide critical services or advanced technologies who can supply these services to the portfolio companies. These mainly focus on services or products that are currently not available in Saudi Arabia. We also have operation and service provisions. These are for private sector companies that are looking to operate assets or facilities for portfolio companies. We also have public-private partnerships. These are mainly BOTs with the portfolio companies. And finally, joint ventures. These are opportunities for a private sector to co-invest with the portfolio companies on their projects. So in terms of what kind of services we provide, so as a private sector hub team, we offer a lot of services to the companies that are registered in the platform. We support you with the demand figures from the portfolio company. We facilitate early connections and discussions with the relevant stakeholders. We also offer a lot of soft landing services and incentives provided by government entities. So if you're looking for any kind of support from relevant governmental entities, you're looking to understand what the demand is, you want a connection with any of our portfolio companies, these are some of the services that we provide. So how does the process work? So once you register for an opportunity on the platform, the PIF team will assess this registration against the opportunity requirements. They're going to check your background, the capability, your company's capabilities against the opportunities requirements. After that, someone from the PIF team will reach out to you to understand more about the company, what kind of support you need. They're going to afterwards introduce you to the portfolio company or the relevant stakeholders, and they're going to continue supporting you with this discussion until you reach, hopefully, a commitment, commercial agreements, or any type of success with the portfolios. So since we launched the hub, we have achieved more than 19 partnerships with the private sector. The value of these partnerships are 11 billion SAR. These are companies coming from different countries worldwide and establishing local facilities here to supply to the portfolio companies. We also have local companies that expanded their capacities to supply also for our portfolio companies. One of our success stories is Hassan Allam. They were one of the first success stories. They have successfully engaged in partnership with our portfolio company. So allow me now to welcome my colleague, Mahmoud Majdi from Hassan Allam.
Hello. First of all, I would like to thank the PIF for giving us this opportunity to be there today. Really, what we are going to share today is a practical journey of how Hassan Allam built this relation with the PIF, how the PIF supported, enabled entry, and Hassan Allam Holding translated this support from the PIF to a real execution in the Saudi market. When we are talking about Hassan Allam is one of the largest business groups in Egypt and in the MENA region with over 90 years of experience in the construction field, engineering, led by more than 50,000 of dynamic and talent workforce. The group itself is operating into 3 different business models. One of them is the engineering and construction, which is the main DNA of the group, and in addition to the investment and development, and last but not least is the real estate development. As you can see, this is the portfolio of the group itself. We are diversified in terms of not only about the construction, but also in different regions on different sectors other than the construction itself, in terms of power, industrial, wastewater, building materials, and landscape facility management, which is already outside the construction field itself. This is somehow Hassan Alam in numbers, if you can call it. Hassan Alam in numbers, the numbers reflects how we executed assets. We have executed more than 58 gigawatts of power plants, more than 20 million meter cube per day for water and wastewater plants. We are, as said before, we are more than 50,000 employee plus. We have executed more than 3,250 roads built. We have built airports that accommodate more 6 million passengers, more than 12 million square meters for special buildings. On the left side, external validation is essential for the organization to be aware of its competitiveness. So we are, by having the ENR ranking for 2025 this year, we are the 45th in the top international contractors, the 8th in the top firms in Africa, and the same for the top firms in the sewer and wastewater treatment plants. Just to give you a flavor and taste of what we have been doing with the PIF. The PIF acted for Hassan Alam as an enabler for the market. They have put us in the right page. They have guided us through the process. We are in the second era. We are established in Saudi Arabia from 1979, in the first era from 1979 till 2018, and we were in low profile somehow from 2018 till 2021. We have visited and reactivated the business development activities in the kingdom through having the 2030 vision. By the Q4 21 till date, we have been able to work dynamically and jointly with the PIF till date through securing a lot of projects that we'll go through after. The PIF played a vital role in enabling us to get through connections through the more than 20 plus of the PIF DEFCOs. That this diversification in the PIF DEFCOs really helped us because we are in our portfolio, we are also diversified. That's why it related very much with the PIF DEFCOs portfolio as well. Giving the full transparency from the PIF, they are not giving you guaranteed outcomes, but they are guiding you to how to succeed. And that's what, from there, we have used this, and from there, the journey began. Hassan Alam Holding, as said, from Q4 2022 till date, we have secured more than 23 projects. We started in a baby steps, but at the meantime, in almost 3 years, to be in a different place from your home country, growing into more than 23 projects with the PIF support. This really reflects how the PIF putting us in the right place, in sharing with the PIF DEFCOs how our past experience, our references, how this can help in the DEFCO itself. This is what have been reflected by the PIF. Now we are having 23 projects in Neom, Red Sea, 7, Kavt, and Raya as well, sir. So, as numbers also for you to be aware of the group, from 7.2 billion backlog of the group itself, 2.2 billion US dollars are executed here in the kingdom. Our workforce here in the kingdom is exceeding more than 4,000 employees. As said, we have been executing more than 23 projects in the kingdom. We are also, as if we are diversified itself, so we are also building and executing projects in 7 sectors in the kingdom as well. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mahmoud, for sharing with us your very insightful and exciting experience with the Private Sector Hub. I also would like to thank Sadim, my colleague, for giving a very extensive overview of the platform and how it functions. So just to give a brief introduction about myself, my name is Dima Al-Milham. I am also part of the Private Sector Hub team. We will now be doing the Q&A session. However, we will be doing it a bit differently. So to make it a bit more interactive, I will be hosting a set of questions with Sadim and with Mahmoud. We will also be open to listening from your end in case anyone has any questions. So I'd like to call upon my colleague Sadim, please. So welcome, Sadim. Welcome back, actually. So the first, I think, and the most frequently asked question that we get is regarding who is eligible to apply for the opportunities that we have on the Private Sector Hub. So if you can just give us a brief on that.
Thank you, Dima, for the question. So everyone is eligible, whether you're an international company, local company, whether you're an investor, supplier, operator, everyone is eligible. What matters more is your credibility, your company fit with the opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadim. I'll pause now in case anyone from the audience has anything to ask, or you can feel free to raise your hand, ask for a mic, however you see fit. Okay, if not, I'll move on to the next question that I think is we get a lot. So are there any minimum requirements for submitting registrations? Can we submit for more than one opportunity, or is it limited to one per company?
So our registration form is quite simple. We only ask for initial information about the company, what kind of services you provide, POC information, and how your company is relevant to the opportunity you applied for. So can you go back? So the purpose of making the form simple is just to give everyone a chance to apply. We will further contact you and ask for additional information, which is based on the opportunity complexity, opportunity needs, and the portfolio company itself. So to answer your question in short, the registration form is very simple. In terms of number of registration, there is no limit on number of registration, but we do recommend that you think carefully and only register for the opportunities that really matches your interest.
I think the most important question, at least a question that I've been getting a lot on our booth, is what if I do not find a relevant opportunity at the hub? Is there something else that the team can support with or they can facilitate?
So if you don't find an opportunity that matches your interest on the Private Sector Hub, you can email us at the pishub@pif.gov.sa with your company profile and what are your interest areas. Our team is going to assess your company profile and recommend an opportunity that matches your capabilities and experience.
Okay, thank you, Sadim, for answering the questions. I would now like to call Mahmoud to the stage so we can learn more from his experience through the set of questions that we have here. So first and foremost, I wanted to ask, what was the exact opportunity that triggered your engagement with PIF, portfolio companies, and why did you decide to pursue localization through the Private Sector Hub and in Saudi Arabia?
Actually, before we entered the Saudi market, we have made our market research And then when we were having like a demand from the Saudi market on getting our building materials manufacturing to be in the kingdom itself. This is somehow reducing the reliance on the imports. That's why we were having the PIF support for putting us on contact with the related teams for the manufacturing facilities for having this localization. Localization enhanced our supply chain methodology, reduces our increased our cost efficiency as well, and developing a strong sustainable industrial base in KSA as well. That's why it was an enabler for us to have this relationship with the PIF, and then we transferred to the EPC as a main contractor.
That's great to hear. So I wanted to know, how did your first engagement with PIF and its portfolio companies occur? Was it during the forum? Was it at a meeting? How did it happen?
Actually, it was an online meeting. This was our first initial meeting with the PIF team. It's followed by several physical meetings, which allowed us to be engaged with the several DEFCOs from the PIF itself. And from there, the journey started.
And what was the most significant challenges that you have faced when you were localizing in Saudi, and how did you overcome them?
Actually, the main challenges was the linking. You are a very big contractor out of this region, so you need to link your past experience, track record, and technical experience to a newly Saudi entity in the Saudi market. This was supported by the PIF, because I told you before, the PIF reflected this capabilities to the PIF DEFCOs. So we are somehow getting the right capability with the right DEFCO itself.
And for our last question, based on your experience, what is the single most important piece of advice you would give private sector companies aiming to localize and partner with PIF?
Giving the transparency of the PIF, giving us the process that we have been in from 2021 till date, we do recommend that engage early. And it's never too late. It's never, the market is moving, and it's always, the mandate is always changing. So our recommendation, as if we have been from the beginners of the changing of this establishment from Egypt to Saudi as well, we do recommend having this localization to be transferred to the Saudi market.
Okay, this concludes our workshop for today. I would firstly like to thank everyone for attending and for listening in on our presentation and workshop. I also urge you to scan the barcode if you're interested in navigating through the private sector hub. I would like to tell everyone to join us at our booth in the PIF journey. We have a specified booth for the private sector hub, where Sadim and I and a lot of people from our team will be there to support you, answer any of your questions, navigate through the platform, and we look forward to welcoming you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and a big thanks there to Sadim, Tadima, and of course to Mahmoud, and really hearing those great stories of what's happening here. We're very lucky here. We've got a little bit of a break, not much, so don't go away. We are going to be coming back sharp at 14:30, so we've literally just got about 15 minutes, and we're going to be looking at the industrial zone selection and the science behind it, and the international playbook. So that's going to be very exciting. We're going to be talking with Newmark, MISA, Ministry of Industry and Mineral Resources, also Modon and Catalyst Partners. So we're going to have a lovely big panel here. So just in about 15 minutes, we'll get back and we'll get started. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We had a little bit of a break there, so I hope you had a little rest and recalibrating your thoughts and what we're going to talk about now. The industrial zone selection and really looking at the science behind it and, of course, the international playbook. So much going on here in Saudi Arabia, and it's really, really exciting. Let me get this panel up here because they have a lot to talk about, and we haven't given them an awful lot of time. So please, from the industrial sectors of the Ministry of Investment, MISA, the Assistant Deputy Minister joins us, Engineer Amr Altaf. I'm going to put you here, Your Excellency, Engineer. Robert Hess joins us. He's the Vice Chairman of Newmark. Engineer Saad Al-Sharif, the Assistant Deputy Minister for Sectorial Development from the Ministry of Industry and Mineral Resources. Engineer Naif Al-Duraish, the Partnership and Products Director General from Modon. And joining us, our dear moderator for this session from Catalyst Partners, the co-founder and CEO, Abdulaziz Abdelnabi. Here's our great panel. We're looking forward to it, gentlemen. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. Industrial zone selection today is a strategic competitive decision. This panel focuses on what actually makes it different. This panel brings together policymakers, delivery, investments, and global site development. Perspectives to focus on what makes it works on the ground. Having said that, I just want to start with Engineer Saad Al-Sharif, Assistant Deputy Minister. From a national planning perspective, what are the non-negotiable criteria that now define successful industrial clusters, value park development?
Thank you, Abdulaziz. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. We come at a time of very strategic moves that the kingdom is now pursuing, especially in the industrial sector. And as you know, the industrial sector is a sector that does not work alone. It has to be supported by multiple sectors: energy, logistics, all the way even to tourism and livability. For that, it's critical when we see these intangible criteria, we have to look at it in different views from a sector to a sector. The National Industrial Strategy has defined 12 sectors, and with that, more than 120 segments. And the understanding of these segments and what would it take for an industrial zone or industrial cluster to really support the growth and the competitiveness of the different segments is critical. Let me give you an example. Some sectors must be built around an anchor investor. So in certain sectors, an anchor-driven clustering is critical. If we think about sectors such as machine equipment, we have announced a 5 km² cluster in Dammam, driven by Alat as a national champion, and Alat is one of the PIF portfolio companies. On the other hand, which is also critical, is the availability of raw materials. And some sectors require that as a major competence factor, either because of safety, hazard, or hazardous conditions, or even the economics of the project. And that's why we have Blaskem in Jubail, to make sure that some of the molecules that cannot be transported either safely or because of the economics of such projects, it has to have the proximity with it. And not only that, we have to think on a bigger picture when it comes to the supply chain integration. We have to look at the bigger, to the bigger map, not only in Saudi, but even GCC and beyond. If you think about how the Saudi land bridge is going to enable the industrial sector across, and how does it integrate with the logistics hubs that the kingdom has announced, all these factors are important. One very important factor is energy availability. The kingdom is now transitioning toward more optimal gas sources. We think about gas, we think about renewables, and how does that support the industrial transformation going forward. Not only that, we are working closely when it comes to green industries, and how can that help the Saudi-made products to reach global markets. There are multiple elements. I would like to close with one important element, which is governance. because that is how it's going to help us to move from strategy to execution. The governance on a national level, the governance on an entity level that handles it, and the governance on the park itself level. Just to shed some light on what we have done following this kind of approach, and the importance of looking at it from a segment by segment to better understand what would it take to elevate the competitiveness. We have launched more than 5 value parks, and we have already identified 30 parks where they provide synergy across the supply chain, not only within that specific physical area, but also how does it extend beyond. Some of them require proximity to research center, and this is more for advanced industry. Some of them require proximity to the demand centers here locally, which could be regional or could be local.
And on this point, I just wanted to highlight something, Yani. Thank you for this point very much. And I just wanted to move to Engineer Naif. Sure. Basically, I just also want to share from his perspective what you just summarized it, from Modon experience. What is the most underestimated factor that determines whether the industrial zone succeeds within 5 years after launch? What do you think of that?
That's a very good question. For us, I think we have witnessed in the past few years that incentives and availability of land is no longer the main driver for private sector to invest within Modon. Actually, it's the real infrastructure which allows the private sector to start from day one is the most important factor. Plus, how can they co-locate with logistics? Our studies shows, based on MIT study, shows that coexisting with logistics partners helps them to reduce the cost of logistics by up to 70%. All these factors has encouraged the private sector to be within the industrial clusters that exist in Modon. Modon has taken a path that where we develop new industrial parks based on industrial clusters only. Plus, of course, other purposes, but industrial clusters is the main driver for our development and future development.
So this is very vital point what you just said. Moving to Engineer Ammar, basically how do you see when the international investors benchmark Saudi Arabia against other industrial hubs? What are the first location-related questions that you're always asked?
Thank you, Abdulaziz, for the question, and thank you all for coming. And I would like to thank PIF for organizing this event, which is growing year after year. And that shows how the kingdom is actually progressing well towards achieving its vision. Well,
if you can raise your voice a little bit because it's very crowded.
Well, typically, the investor, what he cares about or she cares about is the bottom line. At the end, how much would I save or how much money would I make? So when they benchmark industrial cities, they look at key elements. For example, is it ready? When can I go develop and sell? How fast can I sell? If the land is not ready, then basically going to go and look for another ready solution when it comes to industrial zones, of course. The other thing that they look at is the availability of the feedstock. If the feedstock is closed, then they do not have to bear the cost of importing feedstock all the way to the location. It's just nearby. The other component that they look at, of course, is the logistics availability. Once they finish their production, how fast can they ship it to the end customers? And of course, the services that are available. One example to mention is, for example, King Abdullah Economic City. If you can see the proximity to Yanbu for the feedstock of automotive. There is King Abdullah Port, one of the best performing ports in 2024. Also, there is a great R&D center, which is King Abdullah KAUST, Center of Science and Technology, which provide also a good pipeline of employees and, of course, workforce that help the customer. So these are the components that typically an investor will look at when they compare an industrial zone to another. Our colleague at Modon and, of course, Mr. Saad, when they talked about, they said we have a lot of incentives, but incentives is not the key, because incentives could be temporary. And once those incentives are weaned, then basically they look for these elements, which is proximity, logistics, availability of supply chain, and of course, a readiness of a land with a clear regulation that governs, of course, the sustainability of their investment on the long term.
So you're looking more on the longer term perspective rather than just basically giving some incentives that's short, long?
Absolutely.
Going from an international perspective, which is basically we're blessed to have also Robert with us on the panel today, is like, how do you see it, Robert, from your perspective across the globe, from a site selection projects? What separates the industrial zones, the successful ones, from those that are going to be stagnant? How do you can see this?
Well, great, thank you. Hi, everybody. Straight from the United States on a red-eye flight. So
all the way from Chicago, guys.
I'm doing great. So I've been doing corporate site selection for 40 years, 350 times in 35 countries. I've seen a lot of industrial estates and zones and parks. So if you're going to scale, by the way, I love the buzz here and the vibe. It's exciting, right? But it's very competitive out there. So these industrial zones, as they mature, what's the first thing? You got to take care of those customers. That ecosystem that you've developed, you got to retain that industry, talk to them, understand their drivers, the infrastructure they're going to need, the talent they're going to need. So you can't let these zones become property managers. The ecosystem has to grow with the park, and it has to evolve with the industry. So that's really important to the scalability side, right? Incentives are tiebreakers. You've done a great job at that. But again, the world changes, and so investors coming from outside are going to want speed. They're going to want execution. They're going to talk about case study work. And so that success with those existing investors will attract new investors. It's the best storytelling that you can do.
Going back again to Engineer Saad, where do industrial plans most often where do the industrial plans most often face friction when moving from strategy to hitting the grounds?
That's a great question.
I think you need to also increase, higher your voice a little bit.
Is it better now?
Yeah. I think it fell.
I need to hold it.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a great question, Abdulaziz. I think this challenge is not only when it comes to industrial zone selection or industrial developments. This is across the board. But if I look at from that end, it's how the different enablement within that zone comes together in a sequence that can actually support deploying these investments in. From the anchor investor capabilities that has been built around the zone, to the required utilities, required energy, and the infrastructure, and probably the superstructure that is required to enable that. I think that that part could be a major obstacle. And back to the point where governance can help to support that, how can we translate the strategy on paper to assets and activities on the ground, from the top all the way to the bottom, and how does that support the intent of that zone? We have seen examples where, I don't want to call it failures, but challenges that has happened, either delays in installing a pipeline that delayed investments 3 to 5 years, or delays in availability of energy, or even delays in the availability or the readiness of the infrastructure that support that, from a port or from the hub for logistics, and etc. And that is exactly where we should focus on, moving toward execution for a sustainable industry that to be hosted there.
I would like to jump on the point of basically the selection to basically Ammar, and to ask him, sorry, not Ammar, Naif, basically, and ask him, where do investors most commonly misjudge readiness, infrastructure, utilities, workforce, or speed to market?
Where they misjudge?
Sorry, where do investors most commonly misjudge readiness, infrastructure, utilities, and workforce?
That's a very good question. I think most investors would misjudge between the incentives again and the infrastructure. They would focus more on how much it's the cost comparing to the readiness of the industrial parks. Usually, as of Mudun, and I think it's all everywhere in the kingdom, we try to take and provide tailored solutions for the private sector to make sure that they are provided with the best solution that fits their needs.
Again, I just want to jump very quickly. Amar, what differentiates an industrial site that's truly investment ready from one that is attractive only on paper? Very quick.
Yeah, an investment ready, it means if I'm an investor, I would go to that place, I'll find everything is ready. I will give you a few examples. Spark, I used to work in Spark, King Salman Energy Park.
Yeah.
Over there, once you go, actually you'll see everything is ready, one-stop shop. You will see the power actually even delivered to your borders. If you go to Mudun, they actually have developed solutions now which are ready-made factories that you can come and just rent the factory and have your equipment there. It's time to market, as you've mentioned, is the key. It's not the incentives. I want to go produce and sell right away. So these are the key things now that differentiate what's market ready and what's on the paper.
Okay. And going back to you, Robert. So if Saudi avoids just one common global mistake in industrial development, what should it be? Just one.
The one mistake that they should avoid
Yes.
is not listening to the customer.
Okay.
All these industries are changing overnight. Think about AI, think about robotics, think about digital twins, think about all the energy. By the way, in your industrial states, every one of those occupiers right now, if they need 1 megawatt of power, they're going to need 5 megawatts of power. So you got to really, really listen to those customers, spend time with them, and think about what ahead of time, that infrastructure, that investment, all of those things that are going to make them successful, because it's competitive. That line that they put in Saudi Arabia, they can put in another country. Keep them happy, stay ahead of them, and listen to the customer.
Okay, and going back to all the panelists, I just want to very quickly ask you just a general question for all of you guys, and I just one-liner for each one of you. So if you had to prioritize only 2 out of 3 of basically making it happen on the ground, energy availability, logistics, connectivity, and skilled workforce, which one will you pick? So I would start with Nate.
I think logistics and availability of talents.
Okay. Nate. Sorry.
That's a very hard question to answer. Honestly, it should be all. However, when it comes to the site selection, energy and logistics are key. And I liked Robert's point, listen to the customer, which are the investors, make sure that they have what it takes for them to either move their production lines here or keep them here. And talent is becoming more critical as we go, because competitiveness is not defined now by labor. It's more of the capability that we need to build, and talent is critical in doing that.
Going to you, Robert.
Industry, function, geography.
Okay.
It's going to impact all 3, but I have to choose talent and labor. Talent is the driver, and not just the availability. You're headed in the right direction here. It's the aptitude and the attitude and the learning ability of the workforce. Great site, great country, great building, no labor. It doesn't work. It's number 1 in the boardroom. Yes, I would love to say energy with hyperscale data centers and AI, but I have to choose labor, and then logistics would be second.
Last but not least.
I'm not going to argue against my colleagues. I will just let you know that choose Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's great to have you guys, and thanks for everyone. Thank you. Thank you. If you guys would have a picture.
Sure. Yeah.
Please.
Sure.
Can we take a quick picture? Sorry, can. Please.
I'm multi-skilled.
Thank you.
Yeah, mind yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna. Pleasure. 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 Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please don't go anywhere. Abdulaziz, and to all of your dear panel, thank you so much. Some very valuable information in there. We're really most grateful to you. We're going to have a few MOUs that are going to be signed here, so please don't go, stay with us. We're always very excited when we have MOUs to bring you, when all of the talks that are happening in the region are actually coming to fruition. So it'll just take us a couple of minutes to get set up here. Paul, if you need to do stage clearance, might be a good time to do it now. Jerry Todd is in the house. This is it. You know, this is a good sign. And Jerry shows up. So please do stay with us. We have a few exciting MOUs to announce, and we will be right back with you in just a couple of minutes. And we will get even more excitement about what the great potential for all of the deals that are happening in Saudi Arabia around us as we speak. And it's always a good time when we have MOUs coming. So we'll take a little break and we'll be right back with you. So don't go too far. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. This is the exciting time of the day because this is when we know deals are getting done. And it's always a very, very exciting time here at PIF when we have the prospects of signing MOUs and really looking ahead. So we're off to the races. Here we go. Our first MOU today is between the Public Investment Fund, clearly our friends at PIF, and Moonshot. And again, we're going to explore cooperation in various areas. Should we have our dear colleagues join us from PIF and from Moonshot? And Fahad, you will witness this for us, make sure it's all, everything is, so now, thank you for joining us here. This really looking at, data sharing, collaboration, and really enhancing the growth opportunities that we're going to see in local content. Looking ahead to that, development, innovation, and really empowering small and medium-sized business. So, gentlemen, I think, do you have pens on hand? Aha, we do. So our two signatories here, this MOU with PIF and Moonshot. So wishing them well and congratulations, and this is very important. And again, by the time we get to the MOU signing is very, very important. A lot of conversations have already happened. A lot of initiative has gone on. So it's very, very, this is not quite the launching site, but we're close. So it is always a very, very encouraging time when we have the Memorandum of Understanding in place between the Public Investment Fund and Moonshot. Gentlemen, thank you so much. So did we make them wrong or? How do I suddenly jump to this time?
Because it's by code, not by time. So we're going, I'll tell you what to see.
Oh, okay. Well, then we put it wrong. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, our next MOU is with Alpha Middle East and APAR. Industries really partnering now on localizing the manufacture of optical ground wires and accessories in Saudi Arabia. So Alpha Middle East and APAR, where are our colleagues? And we're going to be hearing from Alpha Middle East tomorrow. So it'll get you all excited now that you've got an MOU in your pocket before you come on my panel tomorrow. So you can talk to us about your great plans. So ladies and gentlemen, please, Alpha Middle East and APAR Industries localizing the manufacturing of optical ground wires and accessories here in Saudi Arabia. Alpha Middle East and APAR. Congratulations, gentlemen, and we wish you the very best. And again, as I say, a great achievement to get to the point where we have those MOUs signed. Our next MOU is between Al Saidi Trading and Industry Company and Elkem Silstar. Elkem Silstar and Al Saidi Trading and Industry Company. And again, this MOU really looking at the manufacturing of silicone-based products here in the Kingdom. And this morning we had a lot of conversations with many of our partners at PIF2 and with many of the entities here in Saudi Arabia looking at what they want here in terms of partners. And they want the key partners to be coming in and really working on the manufacturing of quality-based products here. So this one, Al Saidi Trading and Industry Company and Elkem Silstar. So wonderful to have you all here, localizing the manufacturing of silicone based products here in the Kingdom. A big round of applause and congratulations to every one of you. Thank you. Thank you. And great, we have this, we have it witnessed, we have it in picture, we have it on record. So we'll have another one for you in just a moment. I give you a moment of calm to reflect. 2 MOUs to start our day off. And then we'll get ready for another one in a minute. They're just finalizing the deal inside before they come out. Who do you think it'll be? Ready? Our next MOU with PIF and Finework. Now, this is a project here looking at the manufacturing of fasteners and precision machining parts in Saudi Arabia. PIF and Finework. Lovely to have you here, our representatives from PIF and Finework. And again, precision machining parts and fasteners, vital components too, that's needed in the energy sector, in the engineering sector. And really, it's an exciting time that we have all of these players coming into the region. When we look at the grander plans on industrialization here for Saudi Arabia, and we look at the fact that these will be of tremendous added value, the fact that now we're going to localize the manufacturing of fasteners and precision machining parts. Congratulations, thank you so much. And we're delighted to see that we have this MOU in place, Finework and PIF. Well done. Wonderful. Nothing. We're hoping to have another few signed in a couple of minutes, but as you know yourself, we have to have everything in place before we put that signature on the MOU. I hope you're enjoying the entire conference. I hope you've had time to look around at the various booths, to talk to many of the other people. While we're here at Energy and Renewable Energy here, I mean, there's a lot going on in the manufacturing side, there's a lot going on in the industrial side, in logistics, and a lot of that probably having a little bit of a crossover in terms of what we do here at this section. So obviously I want you here at all these sessions tomorrow, but you know, you'll have time in the afternoon to maybe visit some of our other dear colleagues here. And again, when we look at the tremendous work that's gone in to really pulling all of this together, I mean, it's quite extraordinary. I remember being here a few years ago, and really I think we had one stage. And we had, you know, many people on that one stage, whereby now the focus is so intense that we have, you know, every sector really looked after in terms of itself. And we have so many companies that have come in to each sector. And all of this, of course, with the great initiative coming from the PIF and the work that they have been doing over the years, and the public outreach that has been going on too, in terms of what's happening with all of our dear colleagues at PIF. So there's a lot of people from the international community, from the manufacturing sector, from the industrial sector, clearly knocking on their door every day. And they're responding. You know, tomorrow I know we have sessions, and we're going to be also looking at what do you need to be bringing to the PIF when you actually come with an idea. They're inundated with ideas. So you have to do a little bit more homework. You really have to be looking at projects that are going to be bankable, that are going to be successful, and more importantly, that are also going to add value here in the Kingdom. And I think it's been a wonderful opportunity. The companies that are here, we'll talk to some of them tomorrow, and they're going to actually share their stories with us in terms of coming to the region, the whole process of setting up business here in the region, the help and guidance that they got from the PIF, and from all the other colleagues here. So that's very exciting and worth coming to tomorrow to hear that. Because I think many people, you know, coming to the region, you have a lot of homework to do. And of course, the PIF have a lot of processes in place that will actually help and guide you to make that entire process, to make it seamless, to make it flawless, and actually to really help you to make that a very great and very successful experience. I was talking to one of the colleagues who will talk with us tomorrow, and again, that the assistance that's there, the knowledge they have, the departments, the people they've brought together that actually are here to help you tick all the boxes that you need to do. It's quite phenomenal. It's very, very impressive what PIF's doing. And how's PIF doing on their next MOU? Which will next one? Okay. Our last one. So stay with us for a couple of more minutes. We've got another one to do, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Alpha's doing. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow about that, so you'll be able to share your big success story with us. Standing by. Standing by. He's nearby. So we can start him early. We can start him early. Ladies and gentlemen, our next MOU is between ePower International and Al Jazeera Engineering. So give them a warm welcome all the way from Belgium. ePower International coming here. Lovely to have everybody here. And this to establish a joint venture for the local manufacturing of power generators, specifically looking at data centers and standby applications. So you can imagine how busy our friends from ePower International are going to be. And we're actually going to be hearing from ePower International tomorrow on the session. So, so wonderful to have this MOU in place. And we look at, I think, the activity that is going on in the generator space, the importance of power generators when we look at the growth of data centers. So this is very, very important that we have a joint venture like this, an MOU in place right now from ePower International and Al Jazeera to establish a joint venture for the local manufacturing of power generators for data centers and standby applications. Gentlemen, congratulations. Okay, pull out a bit maybe. See you tomorrow. And we'll hear all about ePower tomorrow. Our next MOU is between National Security Services Company and Verint Systems. So, gentlemen, if I might invite you to the stage to sign the MOU, and you have a few witnesses. Again, this with National Security Services Company and Verint Systems, really to establish master reseller agreement granting SAFE, which is, of course, National Security Services Company, access to Verint's high-security surveillance solutions for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and neighboring countries here. So really wonderful agreement in place here, that MOU between National Security Services Company and Verint Systems. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Do you want your colleagues to have a quick picture? Gentlemen, please join them on stage for a quick picture. And that, I believe, concludes our MOUs for today. But how exciting we were able to bring you all of those MOUs. Again, you know, just looking at all the great work that is happening here in the region and the companies that are coming together in terms of localizing production and again coming together to really move production in Saudi Arabia. Gentlemen, ladies, thank you very much. Thank you so much. And good luck to every one of you. Okay. Again, National Security Services Company, SAFE, and Verint Systems, establishing that master reseller agreement on high security solutions, surveillance solutions. Thank you all so much. And again, good luck to every one of you. And we wish you great success with all of these MOUs and these great joint ventures that are going to be happening. Doing Now, good afternoon, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. Please, please come in and sort of come into the center a little bit. You're all very welcome here. As a moderator, and in all the years I've been coming to Saudi Arabia, you know, sometimes we don't really get to choose what panels we do, but every now and then you see one on your list, and you're just so happy to do it. Because over the years you get to know many wonderful people in this region, people who are sort of legends in their own lifetime, who have done some incredible work here, who have, what I always say, engaged, informed, educated, and then inspired the region and indeed many places in the world. And that is a gentleman that I get to talk to this afternoon. So it is my lucky afternoon to close off this day where I have the real honor of having a fireside chat without the fire. It's a little chilly here, but we're in the fiery part of the world. We're in a part that is really on the move right now. And of course, this is a gentleman who is here. Talk about being at the right place at the right time. So he focused on Saudi Arabia, of course, his home country, very early on, and has done incredible work. So I want you to give a very, very warm welcome now to the founder and chairman of the board with ACWA. It is Mohammed Abu Nayan himself. So here he is. And a delight for me, as always. We feel like old friends coming up here.
Hi, how are you?
Great
to
see
see you again.
Now, indeed, as I said, you know, we're talking, okay, there is a title on this. We have a focus here, and we're looking at project pipeline to power, really looking at renewables and making them bankable at scale. And I know many people will be looking for your great kernels of wisdom in terms of how they can then go about and make projects bankable. So let's just have a look at what ACWA's doing. I mean, you know, the most ambitious renewable pipelines in the world almost at the minute. Talk to me about, I suppose, some of the challenges along the way, the hardest steps of moving from an idea, a target, to actually delivering the megawatts. It can't have been easy all the time.
Thank you for attending, and thank you for making this panel for me to share with you some of this background and knowledge that you think I have. But you know, I have now to claim that I have some knowledge, and I have to show and explain to the audience that I know. You know, renewable, it's not I have to say, the easier part, because I'm sure you know very well that when Aqua Power came early to the renewable, that there is no belief in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is pure oil production country, and when you talk to them about something else, that about renewable, you are talking about something that you are not allowed to talk about.
Yeah, it was a very different environment.
Yes.
It was. Yes.
And it was, you know, a country that they were not able to understand energy transition. They are not able to understand the economics of renewable and what the future going to look like. And I have to say that the only hope that has come to this country, not only in renewable and everything else, is His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, our Crown Prince, our Prime Minister. You know, God bless him, who has a vision, a visionary leader, but also more important and relevant, he understands very well, to my surprise, the energy transition, but also more specific in the renewable. And I still remember the opportunity when he has mentioned this in 2016 in June.
Right.
About the renewable, the future of renewable. And for me, that it was the turning point, because Aqua Power, unfortunately, we closed down our operation in 2010 in Saudi Arabia. And we moved our operation outside for the renewable. We done renewable outside Saudi Arabia. And thanks to His Royal Highness, we have been invited to come back home. But this is how we really started renewable in Saudi Arabia post 2017, and how we have been able to really do the first project only, by the way, is 4 years ago. The first project was Kaka. And today, from Skaka project is very small, very negligible, to the largest, project, Shu'aiba, today in the Middle East and Africa as a single project. Reality today that, we are over 65% renewable today of our assets. Under construction, under operation, more than 35 gigawatt. We are in 15 countries, but the most important is what's going to come here. I'm sure that, PIF program itself, it's going to be 70 gigawatt, where Aqua Power is mandated to do it here in Saudi Arabia. And, we are very, very honored and delighted that the real leader and the real enabler and implementation leader is His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman. I have to say, post he become as a minister in 2019, there was nothing happening. And I have to say that when he comes and take over the ministry, he starts to really work on the plan, the vision, the strategy, everything else to make it happen.
So from, I suppose, that very lonely place at the time, because, you're banging your drum and nobody is listening, to, that transformation that has happened now, you must be so encouraged about what's happening and how fast it's happening here and
yes,
the future.
Definitely. Yeah. As you know, 50% of the energy mix has been announced by the Crown Prince, is really going to be renewable. It's going to be, the rest is gas, efficient gas. And I'm sure everybody is encouraged, everybody is really delighted to see this vision, to see this strategy, to see the energy mix. But also more important and relevant, this is more economical. If you see how much we have burned oil, is 1 million barrel a day to produce electricity and desal water. You know how much, if you just only make it $50, how much we are burning money? You could imagine when we replace this now with renewable, how much the country and the treasury, the economical is hundreds of billions. But you are talking not about environmental, great. You are not talking part of the energy transition and showing to the world that you become green, you become more friendly. But you are really making it to happen with a scale, with capacity, with capability, but also you are making it with economics. And more important and relevant, the job creation in the conventional, energy, the conventional electricity, your job, the job per kilowatt compared to the jobs in the renewable, you cannot compare it, is 5 times. Why? Because the supply chain is different, the way it's going to be made is different, the localization is different, the manufacturing is different. How much you will be able to make it here in the whole value chain and how much you will make that impact to the economy, it's a huge part of this. And that's the reason we are very delighted in Aqua Power to really have the academy, Aqua Power Academy of Energy and Water, where this year in the classroom is 1,000 boys and girls. People apply last year for this term is more than 400,000.
And talk to me a little bit.
For 1,000 seats.
Yes.
So it shows you this young boys and girls, because it is a vocational training, vocational jobs, and it is granted jobs. Now we have to do it not only for energy. This academy today is 19 different curriculum, 12 different professions.
That's
Why?
what I wanted to ask you about.
This is how
we look
capacity
at,
building.
You know, some of the other stands there are here in industry and logistics and all of that. And when you talk about that capacity building, you know, you've always been very passionate about growing talent and about really bringing on the new generation. Because as you say, there's so many different jobs in this industry. And we look at the amount of companies here that PIF is bringing, and we meet so many of them here. And they're signing MOUs and joint ventures. And so again, all of these new companies need new skills, they need new employees, and they need, I suppose, a new appetite for the new energy future. Do you think that's we're getting there?
We will be there because storage is growing. Yeah. You know, I'm sure that you know renewable without storage, it will not happen. We have a big number now of capacity of storage under construction, under planning, but also it will be manufactured. I will tell you, you know, a company like Alat or any other company of BIFs, they will be able to make it happen. BIF itself, they are making, you know, today 3 joint ventures with the private sector to manufacture solar. You know, Wingerton Waver, panel, and, you know, wind. And you are talking of over 6 billion investment in these manufacturers. What kind of know-how, innovation, development, impact, and how much that will be export. Saudi Arabia will not be an import. Yes. As Aqua Power has done in the past. It became a Saudi champion in 15 countries. We are almost, you know, 107 gigawatt, you know, under construction, operation, 10 million cubic meter of desal. But also the water. If you see the water, the fear of the future, the fear of the world will be water, not only electricity. Electricity, in my opinion, it's easier. Energy is easier. But everybody is undermining water. And Saudi Arabia now become the export of desalination and innovation in the world. United States is asking Aqua Power to come to do desalination. China is asking Aqua Power to come and do, you know, desalination. Who could believe China will ask somebody to come to do innovation and development and transfer of know-how? It is desalination coming from Saudi Arabia. The whole world is now going to have a global warming, all of the change happening, everything happening in the whole world, that it's going to be a water issue. Again, I think BIF, thanks to them, thanks to this platform, thanks to this private sector, you know, this is where, you know, and he has said it in his speech, His Excellency, the Governor of BIF today, the future of BIF strategy, it's going to be private sector led, it's going to be a private sector partnership with BIF, it's going to be in every sector that we want to go. We have a great private sector. It's not only Aqua Power. There is, I am sure there is many entrepreneurial, there is many companies. If they are getting the you know, enabler and the ability to do it, we will do it. We will be Saudi Arabia, and this is his vision of our Crown Prince, our Prime Minister, is to have 100, you know, Saudi champion. Yes. Where we are having today, I can't even count 5 companies today. Is this is Saudi Arabia economy? No. We could be local, we could be regional, we could be global, and we could bring our know-how and knowledge and development and the human capital. And the good thing about Saudi Arabia, we never think only about Saudis. We are global. We would like to have everybody part of it. We want to have everybody to participate in it. Everybody want them to be really our partners, and we want to be partners to the world, and we want to be able to make impact and impact and impact.
Talk to me about some of the successful partnerships that you've made, because you know a lot of the work you do, you know, and being a Saudi champion, yes, you know, you're driving a lot of this, but you've had some good.
We have today 110 companies.
Wow.
Okay. I have only one company, we own it 100%. All our project company in the 15 countries, including Saudi Arabia, I have only one asset. We own it. Everything else, we have partners. We have tenth of partners, American, Europeans, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, everybody in the world. You know, reality, we grow and we developed because we want to share our success. We want to share our knowledge. We want to be everywhere we go, we share impact to the people and to the country where we are there. And we want them to be our partners, and we want to see them impact positively.
Let's come back to part of the title of this, and it really is also about actually how do we, you know, make projects bankable. I mean, clearly you've managed to do that. So where's your advice, I suppose, to any of our other people in terms of, you know, bringing the right partners in, because that's important, and hopefully you've chosen the right partners always.
Not always, you know, you will
exactly.
make mistake, you will have
you
issues.
learn from that,
Sure.
absolutely.
This is life.
So give us a feel for what's important in terms of getting that project bankable, getting the right partners in place, the trust issue that has to be there, making sure that you know that you have the right people, and when international people come in here, making sure that they get the right partner as well.
The good news, the audience, they did not know me very well. I could bluff them easy to say that I know bankability, I know finance, I know others, technical, other things. I could speak about it, but I hope some of them, they are very knowledgeable, but I hope they will not know many things, then they will accuse me that I said something wrong. You know, bankability, I'm sure you know better than I do. It's about credibility and capability of delivery. These projects, to make it bankable, project finance, limited recourse, you need to be sure that the lenders who own this project is not, your capital always will be smaller than the lenders. The debt will be higher and more. And that's the reason you need to be sure this project is going to tick the box when it comes to off-taker, when it comes to structure, management, you know, governance, risk, everything else. But more important and relevant, that the banks will not step in.
Yes.
They did not want the banks to step in to take it over. So you need to make them at ease. Alhamdulillah, since 2004 until today, with all of these 110 projects, we did not have one project struggling that the banks will come in and take it over. You know, we will have some technical issues, we have operation issues, we have some partners issues, we have some off-taker issue, we have so many issues, technology issues, but we need to step up. Why? It's all about credibility, credibility, credibility. If you make your credibility, you will be successful. Or you protect your credibility, you will be successful. And you want to be sure that what's going to help you and what you are going to deliver. I remember the first project we done, you know, project finance to it in 2005, Shu'aibah. I remember all the local banks, they were saying to me, Muhammad, good luck, we will not participate.
Uh-oh.
Yes, you know.
A few sleepless nights.
We have not to sleep, we will not sleep, we were not able to sleep. You know, end of the day, there was international bank came, they give the comfort to the local bank, they build their knowledge, confidence, capability, competency to evaluate this project. And they, in 2005, the first project, you know, it was almost, you know, 70% of the debt international and 30% was local. But the local, they came the last minute.
Yeah.
Why? Because they were not aware. Because project finance is aware in many places in the world, but they were not being, there is no project finance in Saudi Arabia before 2004, 2005. But again, bankability, it depends on the project. How this project, economics, structure, partnership, everything to make it happen.
How do you go about distributing the risk? Because I think when international partners come in too, there are so many people at play here. And again, in a region like Saudi Arabia, it's still a fresh market. It's a new market for many people.
I still remember that in 2004, the first project called Shu'aibah, people express their interest more than 11. People, they end up going for bidding is 2. They are not confident. They have huge risk issues. There is so many risks that they were fearing from, they are concerned of. But when Shu'aibah has been delivered as a bankable project, when the government stand up in the terms and condition of this agreement, and they put this agreement that there is a balanced risk between the off-taker and the developer and the investor, then you have more project. Now, you know, if every bid comes, you have at least 8, 10 bidders coming. Reality, I think about risk, there is always risk. But also, you need to be sure that you give the risk to who knows better how to manage that risk. There is sovereign risk. It's better to be keeping it with the government because it is cheaper for the government to take that risk and to make that risk and to give that risk easy to the developer and the partner. And there is risk that it is better to be giving to the private sector because they are better than the government to manage that risk. And I love today the word has been said by some of the ministers in the panel today, you know, when they said, you know, about the private sector dynamics.
Yes.
And a minister said, government is great to be a regulator, not to be an operator. You know, and this is what I wish always that, you know, we are more our government, and this is, I am very optimistic, and this is what I hear today in the speech of His Excellency this morning and the panel that we hear today, that the private sector now is the time for the private sector. And this is the moment for the private sector. And I urge the private sector, regional, local, you know, international, to come to Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia will be among the top G10 in 2040. The reason I'm saying it, I will not be there. I could say about something that I am sure nobody will ask me at that time why and what you said. But in reality, you know, what we have seen from the Vision 2030 to now, and the Vision 2040 will come, that this country is going to a different level, to a different league, to a different positioning of our economy, of our social, of our human capital, that, you know, Saudi Arabia will be the most dynamic and the biggest player and the biggest impact country in this region. But it's not anymore our competition in the region. We become a global more than local, and we will see, inshallah, always that we will be over, you know, exceeding anybody's expectation.
Now, tell me what's in store for ACWA. You have a lot going on. You're not stopping. You know, so just before we close up, what are your next plans? What is the company working on at the moment, or the companies?
We just launched our new logo. You know, Russia is here and she is happy with it.
So it's
we
ACWA.
are happy with that. You know, we have a new logo, a new branding. You know, we are looking at. But more important and relevant, I think. You know, Aqua Power with the green hydrogen.
Yes.
People saying there is no demand, there is no place, the whole world is changing, there is nothing will happen. We big believer in green hydrogen. Our new project will be in testing and commissioning this year. We are full production next year. It is the biggest in Earth, and it will be the biggest in Earth until our Aqua Power next project come. And, you know, we will be very happy to supply the green hydrogen to Europe, to Japan, to Korea, to everywhere in the world. You know, we are looking at a huge emphasis in renewable, including storage. We are also going to gas to power, and more relevant and more important, it's close to my heart, is desalination, desalination, desalination. You know, Aqua Power going through also a lot of challenges, human capital, you know, scale up, and you know, we are very lucky in Aqua Power because every country is asking Aqua Power to come and to invest.
Yeah.
And you know, we have a limitation and we have so many constraints, but I am still of the opinion that this company, the limit is the sky. I'm sure that you know our asset under management today is around $120 billion.
Yeah.
We will be $250 billion inshallah by 2030. Asset under management will be over 150 gigawatt, will be over 16 million cubic meter, will be over inshallah 5 to 6 million ton of green ammonia. We will be able inshallah to be the proud Saudi champion to take Saudi Arabia in the future and to the international arena everywhere. And we want to deliver the trust of our great leader, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, our Prime Minister. If without his support, without his vision, without his enabler, we will not be here. We will not be here. I'm not saying it because I want just to talk about it. I mean it. We have seen it. And thanks to his great leadership, we have a great enabler, His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, as a Minister of Energy, who really take us with many support and many enabler worldwide, G2G, everywhere, you know, all the push, all the support. He is a very tough leader, you know,
Yes.
but he made us to always
He'll
be
drive you
efficient, be always motivated to do more. And we have a great also Minister of Water, Environment and Water and Agriculture, His Excellency Abdulrahman Al-Fadli, and his ecosystem. We have a great integration government who really made it to happen. But in reality, the good things that is happening, that Aqua Power today, alhamdulillah, when it goes to everywhere in the world, we are here proudly representing Saudi Arabia.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. And we're thrilled that you are here because you are in great demand around the world. And we
No.
see all your countries.
Don't say this because I will believe it. Then I will be having a big hit.
No.
I am
We're
a
very
small
honored you're
businessman
here.
and still
And thank
going
you
to be
so
there.
much
Thank you.
again for driving forward, you know, renewable energy here, for being at the very frontier of that and continuing to do it. We're
Thank
so
you.
proud
Thank
of you,
you.
and we're so
Thank
happy
you.
to have you
Thank
here.
you for tolerating me today.
Thank you. Always an absolute
Thank
delight.
you for
We'll give them a nice photo here.
Please, I will be delighted. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, here he is. Aqua, our star, our legend, our energy legend. Thank you so much, Mohammed Abu Anaya, and thank you. A delight always to talk to you, to hear your wisdom, and to wish you great well on your next venture. There's always another venture for him. This is what's so exciting about talking to him. And I think all the work that's being done here with the government, you heard it from him there. The right recipe is in place for success. We have to close up today. We'll be back here tomorrow, I think 11 o'clock, but we'll be back in the main hall. You'll all want to be there tomorrow by no later than 10 o'clock because that's when it's all happening there tomorrow. So back in the main hall 10, but please be back here for 11. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Lovely to see you here. Take care.